to the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for Tuesday, November the 11th, 2025. We got a lot of stuff to get to tonight and a lot of special guests. We're going to call the meeting to order and we're going to call the roll. Alderman Barnhill.
Here.
Alderman Blanton.
Here.
Alderman Caesar.
Here.
Alderman Peterson.
Here.
Alderman Berger.
Present.
Alderman Brown.
Present.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Present.
Alderman Baggett.
Present.
And the mayor's here also. We'll begin tonight with the invocation with Alderman Barnhill. But before we get to that, I would like to ask if there are any veterans in the audience. And so if you're a veteran, would you please join me in standing? Because I'm an Army veteran. Army veteran. Veteran. So it's been a really special day. We've had a downtown packed with people celebrating our veterans, and what a great parade we had. And we just have such a patriotic community, and we have a lot to be thankful for. So I wish I could get all the veterans out here to help lead the pledge maybe tonight. So if you're a veteran, please come to the podium, and then everybody else will rise now. And Alderman Barnhill, it's your job now.
Would you bow, please? Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer tonight. Thank you for this tremendously great nation that we live in. We thank you for all the freedoms that you provide, for all the blessings that you provide for each of us. We ask that you be with the military, the people who serve us, protect our freedoms, the first responders in the community. We know that many times there are difficult situations that they're in, and it's a hardship on families when their families are separated, such as the military. We also ask your blessings upon each of us as board members. We know that there are many times that decisions we make may not necessarily be understood, but we ask that you give each of us spiritual wisdom and guidance when we make those decisions. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to ask our veterans to come to the podium and help lead the pledge, please. You're welcome to go down there, Alderman Brown. I'm going to stay up here and run the meeting. So, Chief, get them started, please.
All righty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, here's the exciting part of the meeting, setting the agenda. So I'm going to recognize Alderman Baggett, who I think has a motion about setting the agenda for tonight.
Yes, I have two items. Would like to pull number 38 from the consent agenda and move it to number 10. And move items 12 through 17 to number 11 after that.
Second.
Okay, appropriate motion, appropriate section. A second. Any discussion? Any further alterations or modifications? If not, we're ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Next is citizen comments on items that are not on the agenda. I have a bunch of speaker cards, but they're all for items on the agenda, so we'll continue moving forward with any communications tonight from the Williamson County Commission. Seeing none, we'll go to approval of the minutes. The minutes are not ready to be approved, so we will wait to approve those on the next meeting. Is there any action I need to take?
Mayor Moore?
I need a motion to defer.
Mayor Moore, I make a motion to defer the approval of the minutes for October the 14th, 2025 for the work session, and for October the 14th, 2025 for the Board of Aldermen.
Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
To the
To
November,
November
yes,
25th.
thank you, to the November 25th.
Perfect.
Second.
Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to Fire Prevention Week contest, and I'm going to ask Jamie Melton and Chief Johnson to come up and let's hear these awards.
Thank you, Mayor Moore. Good evening, members of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, special guests, city staff, and everyone joining us tonight. I'm Jamie Melton with the Franklin Fire Department, and we are excited to announce the winners of our Fire Prevention Week Helmet Shield Design Contest. Every October, Fire Prevention Week gives us a fun and creative way to engage students and families in learning how to prevent fires at home. This year's theme was Charge into Fire Safety and focused on lithium-ion battery safety. We invited students in grades kindergarten through 8th to create designs that illustrated this important message. And before we announce the winners, we want to recognize and thank Atmos Energy for sponsoring this year's contest. Atmos has been a long, thank you. Atmos has been a longtime partner in supporting fire safety education in our community, and we're pleased to have Christina Christensen with us tonight. She is the Manager of Public Affairs. So we were amazed by the creativity and effort students put into their designs, and it made judging both fun and difficult. And a first place winner was selected for each grade level, and each winner will receive a $50 Visa gift card. And we will start with our kindergarten winner, Aurora Leftwich. Our first grade winner, Bear Axford. Good job. Second grade winner, Greta Larson. Third grade, Brady Watkins. He was unable to attend tonight. Fourth grade, John Dagramanji. Fifth grade, Paul Burrell. Sixth grade, Silas Watkins. He also was unable to attend tonight. Seventh grade, Malin Johnson. And our eighth grade winner, Hadley Hewitt. Congratulations to all of our first place winners. And now for the moment everyone's been waiting for, our grand prize winner. And the overall contest champion is third grade student Sloan Morris. Sloan's design was selected as the top entry, and her winning artwork is featured on Sparky the Fire Dog's helmet that will be displayed at Franklin Fire Station 8 in West Haven throughout the year. And Sloan has received a plaque and a $100 Visa gift card. And would all of our winners please come forward for a quick group photo, and if you brought your artwork, please bring that as well. We'll just gather around Sparky. Yeah. Oh, thank you. These are the ones that didn't come. Okay. All right.
There we go. Smile. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all those winners, and thanks for doing that, Jamie and Chief. Are there any miscellaneous reports? Seeing none, we'll go to Mr. Stuckey and ask him to acknowledge receipt of the Williamson County Elections Commission's report for 2025 City of Franklin municipal elections.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My role this evening is to read into the record the certified election results from the city's municipal election held on October 28th. This was the election for 4 ward alderman positions, wards 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on November 7th, the Williamson County Election Commission certified the results as true, correct, and completely accounting for the results by precinct in said election, establishing by the canvassing of results. So I'm going to read those results to you as well. In the Ward 1 election, Bev Berger, unopposed, received 293 votes. In Ward 2, Matt Brown received 1,052 votes. BK Muvala received 52 votes. Aaron Watkins received 405 votes. In Ward 3, Jason Potts was unopposed and received 500 votes. In Ward 4, Patrick Baggett received 1,365 votes. Rodney Taylor received 629 votes. That concludes the election results, and just read those into the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next thing on the agenda is administration of the oath of office to the newly elected ward alderman in accordance with the city charter, Article 4, Section 4. We'll call each newly elected alderman up, and I'll announce them and who will be swearing them in. So we're going to start with Ward 1 Alderman Beverly Berger, and Judge Deanna Johnson will be doing that, and then after you're sworn in, there's a certificate that you'll need to sign with Angie. And
I, Beverly Berger,
I, Beverly Berger,
do solemnly
do
swear
solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will discharge truly,
that I will discharge truly,
faithfully,
faithfully,
civilly,
civilly,
and impartially,
and impartially,
without prejudice or favor,
without prejudice or favor,
all the duties of alderman for the city of Franklin,
all the duties
all
of
the
alderman
duties of alderman for the city of Franklin, to which I have been elected.
to which I have been elected.
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Tennessee,
the Constitution of the state of Tennessee,
the laws of the city of Franklin,
the laws of the city of Franklin,
and serve the citizens of Franklin
and serve the citizens of Franklin
to the best of my skills and
to the
abilities.
best of my skills and abilities.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Why don't you get the middle?
There you go.
These pictures and the sign.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Wait a minute. Okay, thanks.
congratulations, Alderman Berger. We now have Ward 2 Alderman Matt Brown, and Judge Jessica Bourne will be doing the honors. And here comes the family.
You need to be behind me.
Ready? We're gonna do it all at one time.
Yeah, here, you need to hold.
Get it?
No, raise your right hand. Raise your hand.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
raise my right.
You got it. I, Matt Brown,
I, Matt Brown,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will discharge truly,
that I will discharge truly,
faithfully, civilly,
faithfully, civilly,
and impartially without prejudice or favor,
and impartially without prejudice or favor,
all the duties of alderman
all the duties of Alderman
for the city of
for the
Franklin,
city of Franklin,
to which I have been elected.
to which I've been elected.
I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Tennessee,
the Constitution of the state of Tennessee,
the laws of the city of Franklin,
the laws of the state of, or the city of Franklin,
and serve the citizens of Franklin
and serve the citizens of Franklin
to the best of my skills and ability.
to the best of the skills of my and ability. Yes.
Amen.
Amen. Last time I cried all the way through it. At least that time I just stumbled.
Can we get a picture? Do you want to get a picture? I'll go there.
That's fine. Yes, please.
3, 2, 1. Awesome.
They may want one without me.
That's fine.
Joe will without me.
I know. Seriously, I cried the whole first time.
Congratulations, Alderman Brown. Now, Ward 3, Alderman Jason Potts and Judge David Veal will be doing the honors. And please have your family join you there, Alderman Potts. Vice Mayor Potts.
Thank you, sir. Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me.
I, Jason Potts,
I, Jason Potts,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will discharge truly,
that I will discharge truly,
faithfully,
faithfully,
civilly,
civilly,
and impartially,
and impartially,
without prejudice or favor,
without prejudice or favor,
all the duties of alderman for the city of Franklin,
all of the duties of alderman for the city of Franklin,
to which I have been elected.
to which I have been elected.
I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Tennessee,
the Constitution of Tennessee,
the laws of the city of Franklin,
the laws of the city of Franklin,
and serve the citizens of Franklin
and serve the citizens of Franklin
to the best of my skills and abilities.
to the best of my skills and abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Three, two, one. Awesome.
Congratulations, Alderman Vice Mayor Potts. And now Ward 4 Alderman Patrick David and his family. And Judge Bourne will be also doing the honors.
Ready?
I, Patrick Baggett,
I, Patrick Baggett,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will discharge truly,
that I will discharge truly,
faithfully,
faithfully,
civilly,
civilly,
and impartially,
and impartially,
without prejudice or favor,
without prejudice or favor,
all the duties
all the duties
of alderman for this. I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
the laws of the City of
the
Franklin,
laws of the City of Franklin,
and serve the citizens of Franklin
and serve the citizens of Franklin
to the best of my skills and
to
abilities.
the best of my skills and abilities. So help me God.
Congratulations.
I jumped the gun.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Congratulations, Alderman Baggett. Item 6 is the consideration of election of the vice mayor pursuant to the city charter, Article 4, Section 5. But before I recognize Alderman Potts, who wants to make a motion, I do want to take one moment and thank him for the work that he's done as vice mayor. I've been told that he's been a regular church attender and has prayed diligently that he would not assume this role, the mayor's role, and we thank you for that.
Amen.
Oftentimes, he's had to fill in kind of at the last moment because of conflicts in my schedule, but I think that he's represented our city with great style in a very professional fashion, and I want to thank you again for doing that. And now I'm going to recognize you for a motion, I understand.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And prior to making that motion, I would just like to take a moment and thank our great mayor. And if you would please give me a round of applause. He is the best in the state. We are so blessed to have a mayor that is truly a gentleman, a man of character, and a man that so many in our community look up to. And it's been an honor to work with you and to work with this great board. And with that, sir, I would like to move forward and make a motion. And I would like to nominate and make the motion for Patrick Baggett to serve as our next vice mayor.
Second.
Appropriate motion, second by Alderman Brown. Are there any other discussion, nominations? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Former Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And future Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations. Good for coming on, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for your kind words.
Absolutely. I meant all of it.
A very special thank you to the board for not putting me in the predicament you've put me in before where I had to break the tie for the vice mayor. How easy is that? I'm going to appoint the following to the Finance Committee. I'm going to put Alderman Barnhill, Alderman Peterson, Alderman Brown, and Alderman Caesar on finance. And on capital projects, I'll be moving Alderman Baggett and Alderman Potts to that area, along with Alderman Berger and Alderman Blanton. No motion is needed there. As far as the Franklin Beer Board, I want to continue having Alderman Barnhill, Alderman Caesar, and Alderman Potts on Franklin Beer Board, and I do need a motion on that one.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to the consent agenda. And all items in the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body, be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. Tonight, we're looking at items 31 through 39 as modified whenever we set the agenda. So we would be moving 38 out of the consent agenda as already indicated. So is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Seconded, was that Vice Mayor Alderman Brown? Okay. Any discussion? Everybody clear? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to old business, which I would ask for a deferral to February the 24th, 2026. Ordinance 2025-15 to amend section 5-703 of the Franklin Municipal Code to increase hotel motel tax.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Now we take 38. And
My error, I was thinking it was before 11, but it is
Sorry.
before 11, but a little sooner. So we're going to now take up item number 38.
And I would like to move to defer item 38 to the December 9th meeting.
And I'm going to read the caption and
Yes,
then
sir.
entertain that motion. Consideration of Amendment 1 to the City of Franklin contract to 2025-0125 with Toll Southeast LP Company for Parkland Impact Fee and construction agreement for Magnolia Green. And your motion was
Motion to move that to the December 9th
Second.
meeting.
appropriate motion and second. Moving it to December 9th meeting. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Now, maybe we go to 10.
It's 12.
12 through 17.
Got you. Okay. I just need to read my notes here. 12 through 17 are next. Item number 12, this is a public hearing. Resolution 2025-24, resolution adopting plan of services for annexation of property located west of Hillview Lane and north of Coleman Road, 1247 Hillview Lane by the city of Franklin, Tennessee.
Let me pull up the map really quick, just to follow. Here we are. So the following four items are related to the Harlan PUD subdivision, first being plan of services, then the annexation, a zoning, and a development plan for the Harlan PUD subdivision. Just as a reminder, this is a mixed-use development that's being proposed at the end of Hillview Lane with a total of 242 dwelling units in a variety of housing types, over 30,000 square feet of non-residential space, and 80 hotel keys. The applicant has requested deferral of all of these items until March 24th of 2026.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I have a number of people that want to speak. You have 2 minutes, up to 2 minutes each. We'll start with Greg Gamble, followed by Emily Peeler, followed by Jay Palm, followed by Ken Knopp. So if you'll go ahead and line up at the podium, please, and go ahead, Mr. Gamble.
Thank you, Mayor and Alderman. We are requesting deferral of all of the items related to the Harlan PUD proposal to March the 24th next year. I'm a landscape architect, land planner. I represent both landowners and developers across the state of Tennessee. And I'm representing Boyle Development Company, who's proposing the master plan of Harlan. I'm also representing a separate item, which is a request by the Ingrams to have 80 acres annexed into the city of Franklin. They currently own 220 acres that fronts onto and borders Columbia Pike. The 80 acres was discussed briefly this afternoon at the work session. The deferral of the Harlan plan allows for the Ingram annexation to proceed in advance of your vote on the second reading. This would allow for, by annexation of the Ingram property, it allows for a contiguous annexation of the Harlan farm into the city of Franklin. By being contiguous and being adjacent to the city limits, an interlocal agreement would not be required with the county. So there is no plan for the development of the Ingram farm. There's no plan for a road from Harlan to Columbia Pike through the Ingram farm. The advantage here is that it would be a contiguous annexation, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily Peeler. I don't see Emily Peeler coming up, so we'll go to Jay Palm.
It's good to be here. Well, my comments are basically reflecting what was sent to the owners of the condos and townhouses in the Shadow Green development. And so that's what I'm reflecting on. I was hoping to get some kind of a feeling for, on your part, where the access road was going to be. But from the email we received, it appears that it's going to be the Shadow Green Road. And so I will briefly, so these would be the first comments on anything to do with that. I'll just go through it quickly and allow others to share if they want to. The current route consideration of Shadow Green is going to be a very deep concern for our children, the owners who walk their pets, and the cars that are on each side of the roadways along Shadow Green. The congestion, these are probably obvious points, but I'm going to make them anyway. Increased traffic, halting the flow of traffic, stop and go, and we don't feel the streets are going to be wide enough to attend to the type of construction work, construction vehicles. I counted there's about 9 curves or turns from the point that you are coming upon our development area. And the road condition, we would expect over the time would become, the roads would be maybe a bit disheveled and needing resurfacing. And noise pollution would be another factor of concern, and property devaluation. My wife made an interesting point when we were up at the end of that road where it turns into Chimerick. Why don't they just come down Century Court, turn at Chimerick, and there's no curves or turns, and the road is all finished? All we have to do is open the gate. That's maybe an ignorant comment because there's maybe more to it as far as the road integrity, but to me that seems to be the most logical way if it turns out that this part of town is where the access road is going to be. There would be no safety concern if you use Chimerick. The noise pollution would be minimized, congestion would be eliminated. There'd be a straight shot with 0 curves or turns, and it's a paved road, and it's more out of sight.
If you'll wind up, please.
It's a winding road. It's a soft winding road, yeah. Just a final comment. Shadow Green is a quiet, safe, uncongested community with no thoroughfare, tucked away in a beautiful corner of Franklin, Tennessee. These are the reasons most everyone here tonight and those not in attendance have chosen to live in such a special, secluded corner of Franklin. Please put yourself in our positions as homeowners, as parents who have children, pets, and if the point comes where there will be a vote, I don't know when it'll be, maybe it's sidelined for the time being, but we are hopeful that you will understand our position and just, that's it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for giving me time.
Mr. Knott.
I find myself on somewhat unfamiliar ground because I've never attended a public meeting like this, so I'm a little bit nervous. Thank you for your public service. I appreciate it. So I've lived in this county most all my adult life. My wife was grown up here in the county, lived here all of her life. When Mac Hatcher was completed up to Columbia Avenue, it was kicked around publicly. I know it was in the newspapers. That's all I know. I don't know to what extent it was actually documented legally, but they talked about how Mac Hatcher was going to be completed from Columbia Avenue on around to the west side of town. And we lived in Franklin at that time, so it was very much a matter of curiosity for us. I remember I had a pickup truck that broke down at the end of Mac Hatcher, not too far from where the TSC store was. That was before the year 2000. I'm not sure if it was in the late 80s or early 90s, but it was before the year 2000. Since that time, the population of Williamson County has at least doubled. The prices for property have at least doubled, maybe tripled, or depending upon where it's suited and situated, it may be 4 or 5 times more expensive. So my concern is around this particular piece of property, the Harlan Public Use Development Plan, and how Mac Hatcher would be extended to potentially be able to alleviate the traffic problems. It seems a little crazy to me that at 10 o'clock in the morning, on a Tuesday morning, with no special things going on, you have to wait through 3 cycles of the light there at that intersection right next to the TSC store. It just seems crazy to me that it's under consideration to put a large, significant subdivision, both commercial and residential mixed use in there, without some further plans around Mac Hatcher and how that's going to be extended. I will beg your forgiveness ahead of time if that issue's already been resolved before this group. I just know that there's been a crying need for Mac Hatcher to be completed in that last quarter for a long time. So thank you for your time.
Did Emily Peeler show back up? Okay. I'm going to declare the public hearing closed, and I would entertain a motion to defer item 12 to March the 24th, 2026.
So moved.
Alderman Berger, who made the second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote on item number 12. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 13, consideration of resolution 2025-25 to annex one property consisting of 311.21 acres located west of Hillview Lane, north of Coleman Road, at 1247 Hillview Lane, and not adjoining the city limits within the southern part of the Franklin urban growth boundary.
Mr. Mayor, I filled out a speaker card for that.
I have you.
Okay, you do? Okay.
So, do you need to make any more comments, Joey? If not, I'll go straight to the Penny Cromwell. Wanted to make a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm a veteran, so happy Veterans Day to every other veteran out there. And as a veteran, I'm on a single income. I'm a single person. I live around in the Shadow Green community through the Green, and I have some concerns about using Shadow Green Drive. One is that we have a very delicate creek running alongside of our road, and it is a very small road. 2 is that we already have congestion on Columbia Avenue, as Jay already spoke to. Police have to direct the traffic on Sundays for church. I have personally been stuck on Mac Hatcher for 45 minutes trying to get home when there's a funeral at Williamson County Funeral Home, trying to get to Columbia Avenue. And my commute in 2021 was 12 minutes long. My commute now is 28 minutes long. And that is a 133% increase in the time it takes me to get to work. and a lot of carbon emissions being put out there. The population of Franklin in 2010 was 62,487. 15 years later, this year is 91,250. Projected in 2040 is 128 and 89. That's a lot of growth. The infrastructure cannot support Shadow Green being the main entrance and egress of this Harlan PUD development because it just isn't big enough. Parking is a concern there as well, in as much as we tried to paint our townhomes and assign our spots, and either the city or the county, whoever worked with the Goodall builder, similar to Harlan, a builder, a developer, made us paint over our spots. We couldn't even have assigned parking spots in front of our townhomes. So any random person can park in front of where I live. As a person with a disability of 90% from the Army, it frankly hurts to carry in my groceries. And the further I have to park away, the further I want to move away from Franklin. And I love living where I live. It's peaceful, it helps me maintain the issues that I have, and it helps me have good mental health. I don't want that to be disrupted with the noise pollution, with the trucks coming through. We are a thickly settled community as it is. We have 3 townhomes and condo communities, and my unit alone, my townhome unit has 64 units. I lived in the apartments before that. They have more than 600 in one apartment complex, and there's 2 of them there. So that's probably 1,200. You can tell it's already congested. We also have 15 shops and retail businesses around there. If we add more, this would be a catastrophic failure to the Shadow Green Drive, using that as an entrance and egress to the Harlan PUD. So I ask you, if this is so important for the city of Franklin that this development be built, why not have that builder build their own road, their own way in on a less dense area, less densely populated, not causing a lot of harm, not taking away the peace? And as a veteran, I appeal to you, please don't build this community at the expense of mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion to defer to March 24th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Alderman Potts. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 14, this is a public hearing consideration ordinance 2025-06 to zone 311.21 acres to Plan PD District and Hillside Hillcrest Overlay District for the property located west of Hillview Lane and north of Coleman Road at 1247 Hillview Lane. I have no speaker cards on this item, but I will allow public comment if there's anyone that we missed. If not, I'm going to close the public hearing, entertain a motion to defer to March 24, 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Or excuse me, I move to defer, sir, till March the
4th, 2026.
2026.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 15, this is a public hearing consideration resolution 2025-26, approving a development plan for Harlan PUD subdivision with 15 modification development standards. Does anyone want to speak to this body? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed and entertain a motion to defer to March the 24th, 2026.
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Potts, thank you for the second. Any discussion?
I said so moved.
Ready to vote? We're voting on a deferral to March 24th, 2026. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 16 is City of Franklin contract number 2025-0158 with Boyle Investment LLC for a road impact fee offset agreement for amount not to exceed $4,647,999. Is there a motion to defer to March the 24th, 2026?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman
Second.
Blanton. Second, Alderman Barnhill.
Turn.
Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously to defer. Item 17, this is consideration for City of Franklin contract number 2025-0110 with Boyle Investment Company for parkland impact fee and construction agreement for Harlan PUD. I would ask for a deferral to March the 24th, 2026.
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you, Alderman Barnhill, second by Alderman Potts. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously to defer. And back now to number 10. And number 10 is ordinance 2025-15, an ordinance to amend section 5-703 of the Franklin Municipal Code to increase hotel motel tax from 4 to 5%. I ask for a deferral to February the 24th, 2026. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously to defer to February 24th, 2026. Now we'll go to item number 11. This is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2025-25 as amended, an ordinance to amend a part of the annual update various chapters of Franklin zoning ordinance text, including overlay district signage, uses, streetlights, performance agreements, floodplain regulations, state law changes, and to amend the zoning map, including rezoning of 171 Hillhaven Lane and 370 Franklin Road to Civic Institutional District and 171 Hillhaven Lane to Historic Preservation Overlay District. Kelly, that was a mouthful.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the annual zoning ordinance update. It's the second reading and public hearing. The major changes include the following. Changes to the sign chapter that include adding halo illumination as a form of sign illumination, allowing canopy signs above the canopy face, allowing hanging projecting arm signs to have irregular shapes, creating an exemption for flags in residential districts on residential lots to be exempt from quantity and placement requirements for up to 90 days per year, to add a minimum setback for flag poles to ensure that flags fly on the same property that the flagpole is located. And moving away from signs, there's a change to allow for wrecker service in the light industrial zoning district. Another change is to allow for performance bonds as an option to secure the surety for improvements related to a development project. Another is to include city preferences for streetlight fixtures for residential streets in order to reduce the amount of light pollution. And there are a couple changes related to state law changes about the Board of Zoning Appeals and allowing staff to have an initial ruling on the interpretation of boundary lines, which helps streamline the process a little bit for FEMA letters of map revision that now can be staff accepted. The other state law change addresses specific language on when vesting takes place or takes effect, but it doesn't change our current process. There are also additional amendments, an amendment for the Columbia Avenue Overlay District, Sub-District 1, for the H.G. Hill site on the west side of Columbia Avenue to reflect the recent plan amendment to Envision Franklin for a maximum building height of 3 stories with a 10-foot step back on the top floor. There's also an amendment to define a new use type for vape shops and to regulate them as the city does for adult-oriented establishments in the heavy industrial district. And an amendment to keep the cumulative time frame of 5 years for substantial improvement and substantial damage in the floodplain until the state conducts their planned update of the state model ordinance, because they have recently indicated that they are going to use 5 years. Approval of this ordinance is recommended, and tonight's the public hearing.
Thank you. Does anyone want to speak to this body concerning ordinance? Yeah, thank you. I have two speakers, Brian Laster and Kim Laster. Please come up. Ladies first.
I want to thank you all for all your service. I know this is a lot of work. And congratulations, Bev, Matt, Jason, and Patrick. My name's Kim Laster, and I live at 424 Murfreesboro Road here in Franklin. I am Patrick's neighbor, I'm proud to say. And we live in a house that was built in the Reconstruction era. It was built in 1870. And we are in the fringe flood overlay. And the entire time this house has been there, it has never flooded. I will say that something I am personally learning, old ladies take a lot of maintenance. And we are finding our old home takes a lot of maintenance. And my husband and I find ourselves hesitating to make maintenance things. I'm not talking any major improvements. I'm talking replacing rotten wood and painting it and fixing roofs. Because we are concerned that there may be something catastrophic in the next 5 years. And because we've made this minor maintenance thing, it might throw us over that 50% rule and make us raise our house on Murfreesboro Road 7 feet off the ground. We're concerned about things like a big storm, knocking a tree onto our house, or God forbid a bad wreck on Murfreesboro Road and a car end up in our living room. So would you please consider making that the change to cumulative damage and cumulative improvement from 5 years to 1 year to make it easier for us to maintain our home? Thank you, and thank you again for your service.
Brian Laster. I live at 424 Murfreesboro Road, and I'm Kim's husband. And I would like to say thank you for considering the movement, at least of this cumulative damage and substantial improvement from 5 to 1 year. And I hear a lot about risk. You know, we all hear about risk, insurance risks, claims that are paid out, safety risks, other types of risks. But I'm here today to tell you about our risk and what that 5-year cumulative means to us. So behind where we live in Ewingville, a person has raised their house. And they've done that through the program that BOMA established, where they got money from the Corps, 85%, and the city to do that. Shockingly, the cost for that 1,500 square foot house, ranch style, was $450,000 to raise it out of the floodplain. Now, I find that amount shocking. So when I think about risks, I think I have a greater risk from that 5-year cumulative part of the ordinance than I do from the actual flood damage. So let me just kind of give you a scenario. So out of 5 years, the first year, I decided to put a new roof on the house. And by ordinance, I'm required to report that to the floodplain administrator, where they will record that amount that was paid. The next year, year 2, I decide to remodel the bathroom. Well, I have to get a permit from the floodplain administrator and record that cost that applies to that 5-year cumulative value. The third year, we get bad wind damage, and I get a tree falls on the house. And the wind damage and the tree don't reach the 50%, because if you get 50% in that 5-year period of the value of your house that's appraised by value, you have to raise it. So that's a $450,000 cost. Well, the year 3, I got that damage. It didn't reach 50%, but you add year 1 and year 2 to it, and you're over the 50%. And the burden of that $450,000 is on us, the homeowners, in the floodplain. So our risk was not flood damage. It's that actually cumulative value that's in the ordinance. So knowing this scenario makes me and those living in the floodplain hesitant to perform maintenance on our homes, much less making renovations to aging kitchens or bath. And I ask, in making your decision tonight, you consider the real world implications of that 5-year rule and how reducing it to 1 year would help us in the floodplain to maintain and improve our homes. And I thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers on this item? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for, I guess I can't approve amendments. I have 2 amendments, so I don't know that I can make the motion to approve and then amend.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Alderman Berger. Are there any amendments to the motion? Alderman Vice Mayor?
I have 2 motions to amend, but the first motion would be to amend the section regarding floodplain regulations and replace the 5-year, which has been changed again since our last vote, so to move that back to 1 year and all its references within the document.
Second.
Appropriate motion and second. You ready to, any discussion on amendment number 1, floodplain change from 5 years to 1 year? Seeing none?
I have some questions.
Okay, I'm sorry, Alderman Peterson. Go ahead.
Because this is a situation that is not the same thing as most places in the floodplain. And so it seemed to me that for most things in the floodplain, the 5-year makes more sense. And I'm not sure that I have heard enough to think that changing that just back to 1 year is the thing to generally do.
Any other comments? You ready to vote on the amendment to the original motion? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
No.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-1. We can go ahead, Alderman Vice Mayor. I'll recognize you again.
I have another amendment that I would like to make. I move to amend paragraph 4.7.4B, parenthesis CA01, dimensional standards, to add the following to the bottom of the building height table. Buildings along the west side of Columbia Avenue, south of Plaza Street, and north of West Folk Street may be eligible through development plan approval by BOMA for up to 3 stories when the 3rd story is stepped back at least 10 feet from the lower stories. I'll explain.
Second.
Go ahead and explain.
The difference, the change in language are these words: eligible through development plan approval by the BOMA for up to 3 stories. This is centered around the desire to meet the Planning Commission and our prior discussion regarding the half-story setback on Columbia, with also allowing for BOMA to review a development plan associated with that. We've had some other developments along Columbia, and frankly, during the campaign and various interactions, I think it would have been good to have some public input on some of those developments, and specifically on this. I think generally people want something to happen on that property and generally are okay with 3.5 stories. I think this just allows us to make sure that that plan and what goes there is special and is appropriate, which everything I've seen, components are great, but I do think that just the blanket 3 stories in the zoning ordinance without having to come back before BOMA, I would like for that to be included. And it really comes from constituents in the Battlefield community who want to make sure that what goes there has eligibility for public comment. through the BOMA and representation. And I want this to be clear, this is not negative towards that specific plan designs that we've seen or what Planning Commission agreed to and what they said they agreed. I'm not saying I don't agree with that, but by making that blanket statement in the zoning ordinance could remove us from that process, which I can understand why some would want to remove us from the process. And I say that with all love and respect for those of us up here. But this is a critical piece of property, and I'm excited to see what happens. But I think this amendment will be good for the whole community, including those that have the property.
Can you summarize that in your
And also
words?
tell us what specifically where it is on the map.
It's the H.G. Hill property.
Oh, just the H.G. Hill property?
It's the only property.
Oh, gosh.
And it is allowing it's allowing exactly what Planning Commission said they wanted.
Yes.
With the approval of BOMA and a development plan. So could not, like as the margin district came in and just built under zoning with a site plan, they didn't have to come through with a development plan. This is adding that to get that 3.5 stories, they would need to come through with a development plan.
3.5?
Excuse me, 3 stories is what I said.
Thank you.
Apologize. It's a half-story setback.
back,
3
yeah.
stories half. So again, I think that's, thinking through this for the community, and that specific. We heard a lot about it this last few months on the campaign, and I think people are excited about it. And I think Planning Commission did a great job on that, but this gives that extra, if we, they're eligible to do that. with a
But you're
development
just
plan.
talking about the hills.
Just that one.
Okay.
There was a second, yes. So Alderman Berger,
Yeah,
you're
I just want
recognized.
to speak to the amendment. I'm going to support that because I like the fact that it gives us additional oversight at a very critical piece of property. Thank you.
Alderman Caesar, then I'll get Alderman Barnhill.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to support this. I think it's a good idea for us to have because of the reasons that Alderman Berger just highlighted. This is a critical gateway into our downtown area, and this should be a very important piece of property for BOMA. And while I respect and appreciate the work that the folks on the Planning Commission do, this is a hyper area of focus for me. I am just curious about the language because it says the 3rd floor has to be set back, and I'm trying to look at the drawing and make sure that the entire above level 2, that we're accurate in our language, that the 2nd floor ceiling and then the entire 3rd floor is pushed back. If I'm not mistaken.
They're all nodding.
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, across the street, was it the same or is there a
No, it's
nuance there? Yeah. So can you just provide some context? Because I want to make sure we envision it correctly.
That project required a building step back at the 3rd floor, but it allowed a 3rd floor and then a half-story above the 3rd floor. So it's a 3.5-story building.
This is just 3.
This is 3 stories total, with the 3rd story being stepped back 10 feet.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that clarification. Alderman Barnhill.
Yeah, I wonder, as we sit here and listen, and we've got a checks and balance and another checks and balance. Where does the Planning Commission's responsibility stop, and where does ours begin? And I think what we're doing now is, I really think we're getting into Planning Commission responsibility, and I don't think that's where we necessarily need to be, because if we're going to do that, we really don't need the Planning Commission then. So I'm not going to vote for the amendment unless I can figure out why, where the Planning Commission begins, ends, where the BOMA responsibilities begin. That's the reason that we have the Planning Commission, for the exact reason that we've just got through discussing. Those are Planning Commission responsibilities. I mean, we can step in and say, but we can also step in and say the same thing. We might want to approve what, we might have a dog in the hunt for something in Spring Hill. So change something for that. So I'm not going to vote for it. I understand what you're saying, and I think it's probably not necessarily harmful. but I don't think it's necessarily in the area where we need to be.
Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
We're making amendments to the zoning ordinance. This is our document. We're, I don't believe this is not stepping into Planning Commission realm. We are taking a recommendation from Planning Commission, which is what we have here in its entirety. Even though we voted on something different last meeting, they went back and did it and it's changed back what they said.
Yeah.
And so this is our document. They get to do with what they see fit and envision Franklin with our recommendation. And they have done different from what we have recommended at times. I see that this is the same way. I understand your sentiment. I do think that this is the one thing the zoning ordinance is what we should be really digging in on. But I respect the point of view.
Just for clarification, have you got that exact writing that we can
Yes, sir.
submit? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, you ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
No.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
I know.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes 6-2. We'll go back to the original motion that's been amended twice. And any discussion on that? If not,
I have an amendment.
No.
Mine's pretty simple. When it comes to the vape shops, if we're pursuing this, to remove the liquor store reference.
can you clarify, state it a little differently?
Basically that it can be next to a liquor store.
So amend 514.
Permitted on any lot within 500 feet of a packaged liquor store, remove F in 5.1.4.AB.
Wow, I'm impressed.
It's right there in front of me, thanks to Greg.
So is there a second to that?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Thank you, sir. I do have a question, and Alderman Blanton, I do hear where you're going with that. Mine is more on the zoning piece. Is during the presentation, when the presentation was pulled up and we actually filtered on the map and it went to heavy industrial, and we were able to see that. I want to make sure I'm understanding the amendment correctly. What you're saying is yes on the heavy industrial zoning as it's
Well, no, I don't
presented.
prefer that, but I don't think I'd get support.
Okay, so that's, you're not touching that piece, but what you are saying is you want an exemption or an exception to allow for the vape stores to be located next to liquor stores?
I'm saying that I don't want a
And hold on-
packaged liquor
hold
store
on
to
for just
be.
one second, so we're all seeing it. Which slide or what page are you looking at?
It's the combined law approved, section 4, page 3 of 19, 5.1.4.AB, vape shops. And Article F, she's asking to be struck.
Thank you.
Okay. And my question on that is, based on zoning, can we strike that? As it's, and I see some head nods, I don't know if somebody needs to hit the podium, I just want to get clarification.
Yes, there's a list of uses that would require a 500-foot spatial buffer from a vape shop, vice versa. You could strike the liquor store and still have the buffer from any civic and institutional use, any dwelling or residential lot, daycare center, funeral home, another vape shop in that list.
I think that is.
I want a clarification.
Alderman Berger.
So what Alderman Blanton is proposing, that would allow a vape shop to go next to or in the vicinity of a liquor store. What if that liquor store is in a neighborhood, but it's within 500 feet of a home? We have that in McKay's Mill. We have a liquor store.
Well, but
And
it's
I don't
already, this is industrial zoning, so it's moot.
So it's going to be only industrial zoning?
That's what this reads as. Yes, ma'am.
So that's going to stay?
Yes.
Is that
and
correct?
I omitted any dwelling or residential lot from the list when I read it. So a vape shop cannot be within 500 feet of a residence or a residential lot, as well as the others that I mentioned in the
But
list.
it might be removed, but it can't be in a,
Not if it's industrial zoning.
so it has to
Deb.
be industrial zone?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
I
Thank
figured
you.
it's the only thing I could
Thank you.
get done.
Got it. Got it.
Any other discussion? You ready to vote on the third amendment? Go ahead, Alderman Caesar.
Maybe just to confirm, in institutional use or civic institutional, are all of these things allowed in civic institutional? Like, I don't want to, I feel like maybe we're being redundant here if there's not even liquor stores allowed or there's no funeral homes allowed in civic institutional.
So, if I may, I might just read in full what the amendment is. Just, vape shops shall not be permitted on any lot within 500 feet of any lot containing the following: any use in the CI district or a CI use, any dwelling or residential lot, any use in the recreation use classification, a daycare center, a funeral home, a packaged liquor store, which is proposed to be stricken, or another vape shop. So residential is not permitted in the CI district. That would be something different. These are pretty specific uses in this list, and it just aligns with how we regulate adult-oriented establishments.
Follow-up question. I don't see here where it says heavy industrial.
This is an amendment to the additional use regulations. So above that, it says the zoning ordinance is hereby amended to subsection 5.1.3, permitted principal uses by zoning district, to add a half moon, which is the additional use regulations for vape shops in the HI.
Heavy industrial.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Ready to vote on the third amendment? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Now we're back to the original motion as amended 3 times. Is there any further discussion? If not, you're ready to vote on the original motion with the 3 amendments. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Well, now item 18, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to ask our attorney, Shauna Billingsley, to comment on this before we make a recommendation to withdraw this item.
Okay.
Oh, I need to read
Okay,
it,
fine.
I'm told. Ordinance 2025-43, an ordinance to amend Title 5, Chapter 7, Section 705 of the Franklin Municipal Code relative to hotel motel occupancy tax collection and refund.
Okay, this ordinance would adopt a state law change that happened last session about how hotel motel taxes are collected, specifically for long-term stays, so any stay that's over 30 days. The state law change says that you can collect the 30 days taxes and then you stop collecting after that. However, when you read further into this new state law and other parts of the statute, it says that if you have a private act, which you know that we do on hotel motel tax, nothing in the new bill impacts our current private act. So it's void, and our current private act stays intact unless we decide to repeal our private act, which we don't want to do, and that's the only way to make this happen. So if we really did want to take advantage of this particular new state law, we would have to first repeal, then take up the new law. Our private act is kind of the opposite of the state law. Our private act says that after 30 days, we refund all of the taxes and we don't keep any of it. And that's kind of the difference between the two. The state law specifically says private acts stand, and nothing changes with the new law. As you also know, we have other issues with our hotel motel tax private act, and we would really like to not touch it right now. So we're asking at this point that we withdraw the ordinance.
For consideration.
Yeah.
So I would, based on that explanation, I would thank you, Alderman Caesar. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion? Ready to vote?
Yes.
Alderman Barnes.
You were a little slow on that.
It's kind of like a Pavlov dog. You offer them food and their mouth waters. Okay. Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 19, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2025-78. Resolution to initiate a study at the request of the property owner for a plan of services for potential future annexation of 4.08 acres located east of Oxford Glen Drive and north of Clovercroft Road. Joey.
Thank you. The property being considered is located east of Oxford Glen Drive and north of Clovercroft Road. This property is adjacent to planned districts with single-family residential uses. It is contiguous to the city limits and within the city's urban growth boundary. This property is within the mixed residential design concept as defined by Envision Franklin. It is the intention of the applicant to develop a few single-family homes, but no formal plans have been submitted to staff for review. A draft plan of services has been submitted for your review, and it outlines how the city will serve the properties requesting annexation and any additional infrastructure that would be required for further development. This property is in the Watson Creek drainage basin, as was identified as a short-term capability area in the city's annexation analysis. The property lies within the Mill Crofton Utility District and would need to follow their guidance on extending water infrastructure. The proposed development is adjacent to the existing City of Franklin limits. The Novara subdivision lies west of the subject property. If the Novara development moves forward and extends sanitary sewer, the applicant's sanitary sewer extension requirements may be decreased. Without the development of Novara, the applicant would be required to extend the sewer approximately 3,000 feet to serve the property. The sanitary sewer must extend across subject property for future sewer continuation. This property includes future roadways listed on the major thoroughfare plan, including Clovercroft Road. This property shall not be developed with additional density without the needed infrastructure from the adjacent development. Staff recommends that the Board of Maine Aldermen approve Resolution 2025-78. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody from the public that wants to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion.
Approval with comment?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown. Thank you. Alderman Berger, you
Again,
recognize.
yeah, this is the same thing we talked about last time. It's a single family, it's a family, and they may want to put another home, maybe two, but in years to come for their family to live on their 4 acres with them. This is not for development.
Okay, any other comments, discussion? You ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 20 is ordinance 2025-48, an ordinance to establish all-way stop control at the intersection of Spencer Creek Road, Wheaton Hall Lane, and Clarice Park Lane.
Move
Is
for
there-
approval.
Thank you, Alderman Brown.
Second.
Second by Alderman Potts. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 21 is Resolution 2025-87. Resolution authorizing the execution of City of Franklin contract number 2025-0262 with Gray Coat Constructors LLC for Echelon Lockwood Glen site It's a lot of words. Site infrastructure project completion, grading contractor services. Please give me a motion.
Sir, I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Second by Alderman Berger. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Item 22 is revised addendum 2 to the City of Franklin contract number 2013-0041 with Williamson County and Chartwell Hospitality for Conference Center operating agreement for Cool Springs Conference Center.
Move for approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. I'm going to recognize Owen Johnson, who here in the audience with us tonight. He's one of our students that's participating in our Healthy Democracy Project, and we're glad he's here.
Thanks, Owen.
So, thanks for being here.
Work session night too, Owen.
You picked a good night to come.
Glad you didn't do
Item
county
23 is City of Franklin contract number 2025-0164, an interlocal agreement between Williamson County, Tennessee, and the City of Franklin, Tennessee to establish the terms and financial responsibilities for the provision of firefighting and emergency response services located outside the city's boundary within the surrounding unincorporated area. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman Blanton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman
Yes.
Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 24 is City of Franklin contract 2025-0216 with KFT Fire Trainer for provision of recommended repairs to the burn building at the Franklin, Tennessee Fire Department Training Center.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 25 is liquor license for BAM Franklin LLC doing business as Corner Wine and Spirits owned by Alden Nagal. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Alderman Caesar. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 26, consideration of liquor license for Franklin Bottle Shop LLC, doing business as Franklin Bottle Shop, owned by Bhupender Tung. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 27, this is a consideration to grant sanitary sewer availability for 1359 Caroline Circle. This is a failing septic tank. So is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Alderman Barnhill. Second by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 28 is to deny sewer availability for 1104 Ridgeway Drive. Is there a motion to deny?
Motion to deny.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Second by Vice Mayor Brown. I'm sorry, Alderman Brown.
Way back.
You get a pass.
I get a pass. Thank you.
You could just make all of us vice mayor.
That's not a bad idea.
Handling one is more than enough job. So you ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
You know, it gets kind of monotonous reading these names.
Oh, come on.
Okay, item 29 is to deny sewer availability for 2625 Macklemore Road. Is there a motion?
Motion to deny.
Thank you, Alderman
Second.
Caesar, second by Alderman Berger. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman
Yes.
Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 30, this is consideration of reappointment of Anna Timmy and Brian Stone to the Sustainability Commission. Is there a motion?
I move to approve.
Thank you, Alderman
Second.
Potts, second by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Potts.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We've now come to a point in this meeting that unless there's any other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn
So moved.
after we thank Vice Mayor and the rest of the folks that have been elected. I'll entertain.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.